You have one job.
Oops.
No.
Today, as always, I am joined by... Oh, God. Welcome back. Today, as always, I am joined by Colton, Lee, and David. How you boys doing tonight?
I was doing great until I got, nice earful.
Yeah, we got to clear the rust out.
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi.
What's up?
Be quiet. You be potato.
Rotato.
Brotato.
Rotator.
Again, I only heard cream puffs.
Yeah. So what's new, guys? It's only been like
4 months.
a week or two
Yeah, it's only been like a week.
since we've been gone.
How are you coming on the fives?
The fives are done.
Yeah, he texted me at like 11:30 last night.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
are
they
you
were
doing
done.
the editing?
Yeah.
I did not
Yeah.
know this.
Yeah.
I edited the fives, and I'm gonna start working on Attack on Anime.
Heck yeah.
All right. Cool.
I
Works
had
for
to
me.
get caught up on Attack on Anime. Like, I was like, what happened?
What is going on again?
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Oh, yeah.
just one of the biggest
Cliffhangers ever.
ever.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate the 4-month wait for that.
6
Right.
months later.
Yeah.
Right.
2 years later.
It did make me feel good when I got a message on Facebook saying, what's going on? Like, I'm sick of not being able to listen to the show. And so we're just on a temporary hiatus.
That's
It'll be-
because
it'll
we're
be
not
fine.
getting any feedback from our fans.
Well,
Oh
I
my
need
gosh.
silent feedback, though, and then we stopped got some feedback.
So here's the thing for all the fans. This is our first episode back in like 4 months. And basically what had happened on top of Christmas and New Year's and Valentine's Day and everything is the shit demon in the spooky dookie room. Pazuzu took over and literally flooded our basement 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And it just kept happening over and over and over and over again. And had to get a hold of a master plumber to get the situation undone. And
What did it end up being?
so he was saying that it's called a chemical clog. We went out and we rented out a snake with like an auger bit, and we ran 100 feet through trying to get whatever it was out. And he was saying that a chemical clog, it'd be like taking a stick and poking it in a dark hole, and it'd be like it's going through like gelatin.
Oh.
And when you pull it out, you wouldn't know that there was a clog or anything because it'd just be, kind of clear through. And then it just reform again. And so you'd have to get
Like
somebody
Stranger
that's...
Things. Got it.
Yeah. Goes into the dark dimension or the upside down, and it's awesome.
No, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you at all.
So he got it cleared up.
Got it all cleared out, and oh my God. And it's the dumb thing is that all of this time, and then it was like, oh, he was in and out within an hour. It's like, all right, cool. Everything's good. All right.
Then the fallout of having to clean everything.
Yes. Getting in every nook and cranny and,
Good times.
yeah, all that fun.
Well,
so,
I can tell you that it doesn't seem like anything happened down.
thank you, because
You're
I've mopped
welcome.
like 4 or 5 times.
No, I
over
thought
the
it smelled
course
good when I walked in.
Good deal.
I'm just glad none of your equipment over there got ruined.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know.
I've been begging for like a stand for all of the stereo stuff and our DVR and everything, and then put up the wall upstairs and got some stuff organized, popcorn and everything. So all right, well, let's get right into it. So welcome to the Movies with Chill podcast. I am your host, Chill. Today we'll be doing our Attack on Anime episode. Today we'll be covering episodes 32 and 33.
Took me so long to figure out where we stopped.
Right. Oh, I know. I had watched ahead because I'm like, which one should we do next? So I had to rewatch, and I'm like, oh yeah, we ended on 31, which was the Rainer Bertolt reveal.
Yep.
So spoilers for that episode, but you should have already watched that one. Yeah, episode 32, titled Close Combat. In his Titan form, Erin battles the Armored Titan while the Scout Regiment attacks the Colossal Titan. However, a whirlwind of steam coming from Bertolt's Titan prevents them from coming close. Meanwhile, Erin is hopelessly overpowered until he recalls a special fighting technique he learned from Annie years ago. He gains the upper hand with Annie's maneuver, but a devastating interference from the Colossal Titan brings the fight to a sudden halt. So, what'd you guys think of episode 32?
Yeah, it was good. It was somewhat action packed.
Right.
I agree with that.
I think I'm probably in the minority that the flashback scene went on a little too long.
Think so?
Bro thinks it lasted like 20 minutes.
It
Oh my
took
gosh.
forever.
It lasted like a solid like 5.
Like,
I think.
and what's messed up is you should just remember that Annie schooled Erin And Erin should have just said, maybe I'm just going to do it like Annie did it.
Yeah.
Stop wasting my time.
I mean, on one hand, I understand where he's coming from, but like on the other, it's just kind of like, well, if they didn't have like a flashback, then he would just pull this talent out of his ass.
Right,
It's just
right.
like-
I think my biggest problem was, until they addressed it, was Mika say, "Why are you punching the bone? Why are you stabbing the bone instead of the pink flesh?"
yeah.
Right.
Like, come on. It's right there.
Yeah, and they spent like 3 minutes discussing how like armor has to leave like some areas
and
uncovered.
Almost
And they're
anyone
like,
watching the show would
"Oh."
have enough common sense to be like, that's what you do. you
Right,
know?
right.
But I mean, I feel like that with anime most of the time. Anyways, I'm like, oh my God.
It's obvious.
It's obvious.
But
right.
we have to wait for them to point it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
But
gets
it doesn't
annoying.
make me, I thought it was a good episode.
Right.
It was a good episode.
Yeah.
And she kept trying to like stab through, like just to get to the nape of the neck, because the nape of his neck, which is their weak spot, it was just completely covered, and
Yeah,
she
it's
was
like a
doing
thicker bone. Yeah.
everything to try and penetrate that so that she could
Yeah.
take him down, but no such luck.
Where was Levi when you needed him?
Right? Still at
would've
the
taken
Capitol.
Across the wall.
Quick work of it.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the fight with the Titan itself was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was easily the best part of the episode.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I love the subversion that they send out to you, where it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And then he gets up and he goes to punch the armored titan, and then he just gets rocked.
Right.
Oh my
Slobber
God,
knocked.
boom. And he does it like twice. And
Yeah.
I'm like, both times, like, God damn. You got hit.
I got hit once like that. I'd be like, I don't know that I want to get up.
I don't know. That rage. Yeah.
You can't steam heal, though.
True.
Yeah.
I cannot.
So,
You lay in bed and heal.
right.
Yeah, so overall, it was a great episode, action-packed. I like that it picked up right after the last episode
You're right.
and gets right into it. Mm-hmm. I like the questions it poses, like, why did they do it?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is going on? And how are they able to befriend all these people and be around them and help them fight
For
Titans?
years.
For
years.
5-6 years,
Yeah.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, they're just...
Boom.
So
Done.
What's their motivation?
What's their motivation? What's their plan? Who do they answer to?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff.
And the episode even starts back up with like a episode from season 1 where they're, Rhina, Bertolt, and Erin and Armin are kind of walking through the
Forest here.
just a forest, and they're just talking about like, man, I can't wait to go back home. I'm tired of this. You know what I'm saying? And
You had Aaron sitting there saying that he's going to kill every last Titan that ever lived.
Yeah.
And
Told
Rhino's
him.
looking at him like, dude, chill out.
yeah,
Chill out, bro.
And he does mean every Titan.
right.
Right.
Everyone.
Even the
Chill,
ones
bro.
he doesn't know about.
Right.
Like, dude, you don't want none of this smoke?
You want none of the steam?
Exactly.
It's kind of heartbreaking with Mikasa because you could tell she's kind of in turmoil. Like, they were right there and I hesitated. Like, why didn't I take them out before they were talking? I
Because
realized
you're always
that.
going to have a little bit of doubt.
Yeah.
Like, is this real life?
Yeah. Right.
Like, is that really
Did you
what's
really
happening?
mean
I
that?
it would be like, it's someone that you have worked with for 5 or 6 years just all of a sudden saying they're like
Yeah.
the one. You're not gonna just chop their head off
Yeah.
and be like,
I'm a Nazi.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah,
A lot
yeah,
of that going around.
but I
So-
totally get
Ain't
that.
the fucking
Yeah.
truth.
So the episode is a big fight scene.
Yeah.
And he finally has him.
Yeah.
He rips his arm off.
Got him in a rear naked
Mikasa
choke.
takes one leg out, like cuts the
Or no,
tendon.
he's got him in a guillotine choke.
And then he has him in the choke, and he's slowly ripping that bone, and his head's gonna pop off. And
Yeah.
he lets out that scream,
And Rhina,
pushes his way over to
The
be
wall.
underneath the wall. Yeah,
yeah, the episode ends with Rhina's top half just coming down with his freaking mouth wide open, and he's gonna go right for Eren. And the weird thing too is that Ymir is in the Colossal Titan's mouth the entire time.
Oh yeah.
As well, so that's one Titan that they have. And did you guys think? You guys didn't think that he had swallowed her or anything like that, did
No.
you? Or
No.
You
No.
kind
I
of knew.
forgot
Like,
she was in there
No, I knew
until
she
like
wasn't
the
gonna
end,
be dead.
and I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
It's
yeah.
clearly obvious that they have a purpose for them, so they're not going to just kill them like that.
right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else on this episode?
No, I
Do you
thought it
guys
was
wanna-
a solid.
Yeah.
Solid
I'd give it a
episode.
solid 7.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd probably go
Yeah, I
8
thought
on
was
it. I
Eight on
liked
it,
it.
yeah.
You confused me last night because on movies,
1 through 8.
Yeah.
2 through 6.
Yeah.
Well, the movies are graded by letter.
Yeah, graded by letter, but the episodes are graded by the number.
Well, yeah.
The-
We like to mix it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
We like to keep it
fusion
fresh.
of many.
We like to be
And this is-
inconsistent.
This is the Attack on Anime
Yeah,
scale.
the metric and the.
So just because, this is Attack on Anime 8 or 7, this might be like a 10 on let's see.
In movie reviews, I would say it's an A,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I would say it's an A minus maybe.
I'd have given it a B plus.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I mean, I think that's a A minus, B plus. That's fair right there. That's a fair assessment.
But if this was like, that time I got reincarnated by a slime scale, it might be a little different.
It might be a little different. Yeah.
So, all right, let's jump right into episode 33. Episode 33 is titled The Hunters. After
It should be called filler.
It should be called. Yeah, I was going to. This is a Beverly Crusher episode
Right.
from Star Trek.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Facing defeat at the hands of the Colossal Titan, Erin is taken away by Rhina and Bertold. Word is sent to Commander Pixis and Trost of the situation in Wall Rose, and Commander Erwin gathers Scout Regiment and military police reinforcements to assist in the crisis. At Wall Rose, Hannes confronts Mikasa and Armin, choosing to join them when the time comes to rescue Erin. When Erwin's reinforcements arrive, Hanji theorizes on the traitors' new location, and the scouts and MP embark on a search for Erin and head for a forest of giant trees.
Yeah.
So
This one was boring.
I mean, okay, yeah, the backstory's fine, but it doesn't give me anything that I didn't already
Exactly.
know.
There was no new information in this except for the last 5 minutes where they came up with the plan of where they're going.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's flashback.
It was purely just.
Filler.
It's filler.
Pure filler.
but at the same time, too, we're given an introduction on how we don't just have text message like, Commander Pixis, Rhina and Bertold are the Titans, and so is Annie. Hey, Connie.
Yeah,
because
it's Pony Express. Like they had
Yeah.
to go and they had to tell them.
Right.
And I get that. That's fine.
So-
But that could have been a 5-second scene.
for sure, I agree.
Not a whole episode of let's get the troops. Because there have been many episodes where it is just we're going to the wall. They're at the wall.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of all the.
I mean,
Pomp and
Blah.
circumstance.
they literally crossed on top of the wall because it was fast.
I mean, I think
Right.
that's probably the coolest part of the entire episode is
Yeah.
that they were able to do that and lift the horses up.
Yeah.
And actually, when they were lifting the horses up, I was like, man, that's just dragging on the wall. There has to be wheels on that. And if you look in closer,
Yep.
you can see the wheels on the wall. I'm like,
Yeah,
I love
there
that
it
they
goes.
had that detail.
Right.
It's so cool. Yeah.
I'm getting the episodes kind of confused, but is this where Mikasa has a flashback of her fighting?
Yes.
yes.
That's the whole episode, basically.
And she
She's
has
sleeping.
Doesn't she have like a moment where Erin?
He follows the bullies after they all fight.
Okay.
And she's being held back.
Yeah.
And it's the same. It's
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Well,
what's happening. And
I can't remember if it's this one or if it's one that I've already watched, but it's a flashback to where they're in training. And in my opinion, one of the biggest FUs of a flashback where it's like, all right, the next two fighting is Annie and Mikasa.
that was the previous episode.
That's the previous one. And they're like, who's going to win? And then it just cuts straight to modern day. And you're like, no, So,
Who would've
Yeah,
won
I mean that
fight?
might have been an A+ episode if they would have included
Right,
it.
right.
And this one might get a better score if it included in this episode.
That'd been cool, yeah.
Well, there's not enough hair whipping around.
No, right? There's not much of this episode really.
no.
The only thing this episode really does is just kind of establish their dynamic. They really reinforce that.
I do
Yes.
like that everyone comes together to save them. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
There was no question about it. Everyone's there for their own reason, their own purpose.
Yeah.
You know, so that's good that they established that in this episode.
Even John has like kind of a little moment in this as well, doesn't he? And
Yeah.
he kind of struggles with some stuff.
I don't recall. Was Levi in the party heading out
No.
to the forest?
Nope.
He's still back in
No, he's
Yeah.
still
the
chilling.
inner circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, can I
Doing
tell you my
nothing.
least favorite part of the episode?
Go ahead.
Them eating at the end. It drove me crazy.
Oh,
Why?
With the intensity?
Why? Also, they're not chewing. They're just swallowing. It drove me crazy. And they all go. And I'm like, "Ugh," it's so cringy
Just
for me. I don't
do
know
it.
why I hate it so much.
That's definitely an anime thing.
Yeah, I know it is. And I said that in my head as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I have to like it.
Well, I didn't say you had to like it. I'm just saying you got to accept it.
Accept it for what it is.
Right.
I do accept it.
Cool. Well, anything else for any of these two episodes?
Nah.
No.
3.5 is what I.
3.5. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'd give it about a 3.
And
C
Okay, so wait, we're
minus.
back on the numbers, right? Not,
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's C minus.
yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'd give this one charcoal.
Yeah.
I can
It
work
is
with
not
that.
propane
Charcoal,
by
I
any
can work
means.
with
It's definitely
that.
not propane.
No, it's not a Blackstone either.
No,
like
this is
this is
best
this is
choice
tail.
charcoal.
Yeah, this is like tailgating charcoal.
Okay.
That
This
you
isn't
just
this
dump
isn't wood chunk at all either.
No.
Not even
There's
no
close.
It
mesquite.
might be
there.
a fire starter.
It
like,
doesn't
right?
even have the lighter fluid in it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
So
is
it's
like, again,
you
best
have
choice charcoal.
You have literally like the bare, not even the bare minimum, just the foundation of something.
So this is
Maybe.
like
Maybe.
when I was at scout camp and they just said, "Hey, everybody, you can bring, little cotton balls full of gasoline to help you light your fire." And then the kid next to me is like, "Oh, gasoline, not Vaseline."
Actually, Vaseline burns.
I know, but when you put it on a cotton swab, it's going to be kind of hard to light, especially if you keep it and it molts over.
oh, gasoline.
See, I
Not-
didn't get that.
I completely misread the situation.
So,
Right.
if you all haven't realized that this is not the best of episodes, but it's not the worst of episodes.
No.
would you give it
charcoal?
Yeah, I was gonna say, would you give it a charcoal?
Yeah.
It's one of the worst episodes we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's saying a lot because it's not that bad of an episode.
But
it's
it
just
is
a solid pair of Payless shoes,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Oh my
This is
god,
some-
these rating scales are getting out of hand.
This is Mountain Lightning.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
It's not bad. It's not Mountain Dew, but it's Mountain
Oh,
Lightning.
okay.
Yeah.
So wait, I got a question for you at least then. Would
Some
you,
Dr. Sam's?
if you have to rewatch an episode, would you watch this or the Jean OVA cooking?
This.
Really?
Yep.
I would watch
What's
the
the
genre.
genre? Which one's that?
The one
where
where
they did
the
the
cooking.
cooking competition.
Yeah, and then Pixis goes,
He goes like
The absolute
Super
bonkers, nut job, stupid episode that didn't need to exist ever.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
why it's an OVA though. That's
Right.
the thing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This was
episode,
they're
for
practicing
sure.
their animation is what they're doing.
Right. I did think that when it showed all the horses on the wall, I was like, "Oh, that looks great."
still, yeah. I mean, the animation quality is insane.
I've heard people complain that the animation wasn't good, and I don't know where
So-
I don't know where these people are, but they're probably miserable.
They probably take joy in absolutely
They're
Yeah.
cooking with charcoal and drinking
probably
Mountain
about the-
Lightning.
it's probably about
That's
the
what they're
same
doing.
level as like Invincible
trying to
fans.
start a fire
Yeah.
with Vaseline.
So the thing that a lot of people complain about on this show is that it mixes a lot of CGI from like the mid, 2010s and animation. And there's a lot of
I
like
think that's cool.
with CGI, it's not going to bother you until it does, and when it does bother you, I'm like, wow, that looks bad. You know what I'm saying?
sometimes it's like
Yeah. But for the for the overall quality is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that was
that
was the best cola of episodes.
Yeah.
I swear to Christ.
These are, as far as animation, they're definitely like Air Jordans, probably circa 97
See now,
or
now
something.
he's talking. Now he's talking.
These are Air Jordan 11s.
Yeah. So,
Everyone's I have.
Like 47s, buddy.
Yeah.
You don't have 11s.
no, I got
Your daddy can't afford 11s. He works at the post office.
Back in the day, he might have, but not
Right.
anymore.
all right. So, what do you guys think? Pretty solid?
Yeah.
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 All right. I think we're going to go ahead and watch 34 and 35 for the next time. And,
It's good.
Sounds good.
All right. All right.
Predictions?
What?
Predictions?
Yeah, predictions. You guys got any predictions? So here's the thing, too, is that we are now officially halfway through the season, as hard as that is to imagine.
I think
Oh.
that we're
So-
going to start getting some answers.
We completely
That's my
dodged the
prediction.
fact that like Erin does wake up.
Yeah, we
and
did.
and stares Bertold. Or
Rhina and
not-
Bertold.
Yeah,
Rhina
and
Bertold
is he
dead in the
missing
eyes.
arms?
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
it's growing back.
He's
Yeah.
steaming, but do they have him tied to where they can't grow back to keep him?
They're not
I don't
like
think so.
No.
they're not tied, but they're like bandaged. to
Yeah,
where,
I
like,
thought that maybe they
where,
had
like,
it to
bleeding
where
won't,
that was
you know.
a way of
Yeah.
like
Because you
holding
saw
him down.
Emir was missing part of her arm.
Yeah.
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 And she was
Leg,
growing her
one,
back.
too.
yeah.
And it was all
I'm
steaming.
genuinely impressed. You remember?
I
her
just
name, 'cause I completely forgot
I
her name.
really hope we start just getting a few answers.
Yeah. We
So,
will.
yeah.
And so, predictions for the rest of the season? You're thinking we're getting some answers?
I think we need to get a few answers.
Right.
I think he's going to be rescued. We're not going to get any answers.
I think it can go both ways, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the hunting party's going to show up and rescue them before they can get away, and we're not.
Oh, I don't think they're going to get away now, but I feel like we'll get some kind of like
Closure.
Oh, I think they're
Closure.
getting away.
I think Bertold and Rhino will get away.
Oh yeah, I think they'll get away probably.
Oh, yeah.
but
But-
they're not going to take Erin.
Yeah, they're not going to
No.
take Aaron. Maybe Amir. Maybe.
Yeah, they might take Amir, but they're not taking Erin.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. All right. We'll see you guys on the next one.
right,
Thanks
see
for
you
sticking
later.
around with us.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.